Welcome to Mack-n-Cheeze Music Podcast with your hosts, Brian DeHart.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. We've got a great podcast for you today. My guest is Michael Clune. Michael is a superb musician and band leader.
Anyone can do that.
Surely you're not serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
I've had the experience of running bands, and let me tell you something, man, it's not for everyone. Over the years, Michael has had many bands, and he's going to share with us how he manages to keep the same personnel year in and year out. We're going to be sharing some snippets of Michael's original music recorded here at Mack-n-Cheeze Studios. All rights reserved, composed and published by Clune Brothers Music.
Okay.
Jasper.
So I always found that your name for your cat, Jasper, and I actually didn't put this together. This is honest, because, oh yeah, that's a nice name for the kitty, Jasper. I get it. And then it's like, oh yeah, you love jazz, and the cat likes to purr.
Yeah, I didn't name him.
Oh, you didn't?
No,
I thought you named him.
We got the cat when he was 2 years old, and his full name is Jasper Rasputin Mathia Clune. That's a fact. That's his registered name, and he had a collar. He grew up in Stanwood in the suburbs, and
He's a suburb cat.
He grew up and he had a big backyard with a fence, and he used to walk. Anyway, I just I went up there, and I was looking in Craigslist, and it's Maine Coon cat. So anyway, the family invited me up, and the girl who was going off to college, she had him since he 2 years old.
Okay.
And, he Jasper, they called him Jasper.
Yeah.
And so he was showed off. He rang a bell to go out. He got up and hit another bell to eat. And he was.
Really? What a smart cat.
Yeah. He grew up with a dog and another cat.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And Jasper is he's just like to. Yeah, he's exceptional. These Maine Coon cats are just exceptional. But so here's the collar. So he had a collar, of course, when we got him.
Yeah.
But when we have cats at our house, they don't wear collars.
Right.
You know what I mean? But anyway,
right.
He did. And so we thought we'd go with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he had a tag. But it was, Jasper Rasputin Clune. And so
what a name.
Cathan. I'm sorry, Jasper Rasputin Cathan.
Yeah.
Cathan
Sure.
Clune.
Get it right,
yeah,
Dad.
Well, I got it. Anyway, that was it. And so he was at our place like a couple months later. Came back. Went out, came back, no collar on.
Yeah.
And then, so we replaced it, the whole thing. And then a week later, the neighbor said, I think they found the collar up in a tree.
Yeah.
It's the first one. So they brought the first one in. The second one lasted like a week and a half, and it was gone.
Yeah.
And we found that somewhere a couple years later, but that was it. No collars. And, and it was great, because after 2 years, it's like, gosh, I know it must have felt good just to finally got his neck scratched.
Well, Otis refuses to wear a collar.
No collar.
He won't do
collars.
it. He won't do it.
No.
Hey, anyway, this is Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze. This is my good friend Michael Clune. Excited to have him here today.
Thanks, man.
So Michael's has an extensive musical background. Graduated from Berklee School of Music in Boston, right? Yeah, so why don't you give the audience a little bit of your background?
Well,
and I'm sorry to interject real quickly. So Michael is a master at holding bands together. So this is you gotta.
You're kind.
Yeah. We'll tune in and listen, because we all know what a challenge it is to keep bands together. So
that was easy.
Yeah, that we'll do that again.
Yeah. Well, it was cool, because I grew up in a hotel in upstate New York. So and we music. Before that we had an old piano in the house, and it was like like a lot of kids, learned at church, loved to sing and sang at church, and then started drumming in 4th grade, and had just a very, it's really strict teacher, but Mr. Cario, but a great dude. Turned out to be a great friend and teacher, but grew up in the hotel. It was like all of these people from all walks of life would come in, from Canada a lot, from the city, New York City, musicians and stuff. And then I got a drum set finally. I think I don't know how I finagled that with my dad, but I did. We went to Scranton, Pennsylvania, and we went to this music store run by a bunch of Italians. And I was only going to get like one snare drum, but the guy basically said, "Make me an offer." To my dad, and so got this pre-CBS Rogers,
Perfect.
Yeah.
What year was that?
That was
60 something.
Yeah, it was perfect shape, all that good stuff.
What a great set. Great drum set.
Yeah, but so when I was like 12, I started playing professionally, age 12, and I was playing with all of these guys, 18, 20, 25, 30 plus, and the first gig I had, I did a jazz gig with the music teachers played jazz and stuff, so I got into jazz real fast.
You started swinging at a very young age.
Oh, real young age.
Yeah.
But I tell you what taught me how to swing is this cat. My brother was down in Nashville and playing some music at the time, and he came home one summer and he brought a drummer with him, and I wish I could remember this cat's name, but could he shuffle?
Yeah.
And it's like, and of course, when you're 14, your just ego is like, oh yeah,
I could do that.
Yeah, right. But anyway, man. So no, he just sat down and he started playing, and he said, "Man," he said, This is. He was into the Allman Brothers and all that kind of great stuff.
Yeah.
Boy, and I learned to. That's the day I really learned how to shuffle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was great. A lot of older influences, and I had a great teacher, and it worked. It worked for me all the way around.
Yeah. So you started playing piano about the same time as well?
Yeah, I picked up the flute in high school. I don't know why. I just picked it up. I could play it.
Yeah,
and
play it well.
Yeah, and so that was cool. And then, piano, kind of chords to writing songs, kind of that. And, so then I went off to Berkeley,
And so you were 18, 19 years old when you went off to Berkeley?
Right, the day after I graduated from high school.
You just...
The day after. Didn't even hang out in the summer and drink and get laid and get drunk and all that good stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? Yeah, right.
Well, you got basket for that.
I lost my... So I went and moved to Boston.
Yeah.
It's like big city. And it was interesting because it was like always 100 degrees each day.
Yeah.
Woke up to cold showers. Didn't even turn the hot water on at all that whole summer.
Yeah. I bet. Yeah. Humidity's just outrageous.
Yeah. But anyway, studied with Alan Dawson, Joe Hunt.
Both piano and drums?
No, just drums.
Just drums.
Yeah, drums and percussion.
Yeah.
Played drums and flute in a kind of an alternative folk jazz band.
Yeah.
Kind of did some gigs in the Boston area.
Yeah. Let me.
So
we're gonna have some interference there, so we'll shut that door.
But great experience and etc. I mean, it's like. It just fueled all of the inspiration, and I was kind of a jazz, what I would say,
snob.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, I was. I really was. It's like,
yeah, I was when I was in. I get it, because my favorite drummer when I was in high school was Tony Williams. You go hang out and party with your friends, and they're listening to Journey and Foghat.
Right.
I'm like,
right.
Good.
Right.
I want to hear some Miles, please.
Right. I mean, definitely. So but I kind of grew out of that after a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, country music, country music was introduced to me at a young age. I mean, I grew up in upstate New York.
Yeah.
It's part of the culture. And so all that kind of shuffle and kind of just really eloping and all that.
Yeah, the nuances are incredible.
Yeah,
in country.
so I really, I played a lot of country rock, in bands and stuff. So, I was gigging at age 12 and 13, having the time of my life. I mean,
Yeah.
And then, so I just said, I think I'll just continue to do this. Yeah, it works. Yeah.
So, did you do the hotel circuit at one point after Berkeley?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did. But actually, I did it out here on the West Coast. I did Holiday Inns.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Three-piece lounge.
Did a lot of that. Yeah. Did a lot of
three vocalists.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot. So
cover a lot of territory with three vocalists.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. Love it. I was always fortunate enough to be in vocal bands, and of course I sang as a drummer.
Mm-hmm.
I got hired to sing just as much to drum.
Right, exactly. Right.
Yeah.
It's a big deal.
Yeah. So, good stuff. Yeah.
Back in the day when those gigs were around.
Wasn't that long ago, really.
Well, perspectively wise,
Yeah.
absolutely. I mean, good Lord, we'd go out on the road we'd be out for months, playing the same stage 4-6 weeks at a time.
Oh, I mean the Black Angus circus alone would keep you in the black.
Yeah.
Paid great.
Yeah. Do a little Dinah Washington for first set, and by kicking out in some disco and rock and roll on the last set. Yeah.
Yeah. So good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
So the reason I invited you here today was that I wanted to pick your brain on how you are able to keep bands with the same people for extended periods of time, and it's been you've always been very, very good at it. And so, what are the things that you do to motivate people to want to stick around?
I sleep with their wives.
Wow.
No.
Okay.
No. Well, anyway,
there you go.
Just
hey, if it works for you.
But anyway, it's a process. Now, you mentioned that to me last week, and I thought about it a little, and I would say, I guess first off, choosing the right musicians, not only based on their musicianship, but their personality and their attitudes.
Yeah.
And when I was doing jazz gigs, it was like, anybody would come in that just had the super chops, didn't matter, and then you'd say hi, and and everybody would do the standards,
right?
But doing a rock and roll thing, doing original music, blues, funk, whatever you're doing, popular music. It's I liked when I looked at bands that got things done, even major league, minor league.
Mm-hmm.
It's people that stuck together.
Yeah.
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 And so I looked at that. And that was the goal.
Mm-hmm.
That was goal. And so I'm choosy about a lot of the people I play with.
Yeah.
Number one, there's a certain amount of structure that I provide for them already. It's like whether it's making sure they get MP3s, making sure they get scores.
It's like babysitting kindergartners, right? Because you got to have structure. You got to have nap time, play time, cookie time.
I'd structure. Oh, I had a place to rehearse. And when people come in, there's a lot of pieces to this puzzle.
Yeah.
Number one, I always feed people.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the guys that had to drive from somewhere.
Yeah.
I pay them. I pay them gas money.
Yeah, that's rare.
It is, but it's like in the band I'm in now. somebody comes from West Seattle or somebody comes from Seattle. Yeah, I pay them gas money. You know,
It's gracious.
and so structure and communication through during the week, emailing them after the rehearsal, emailing everybody and pointing out the positive strokes.
Yeah.
Hey, this is what we accomplished. This, you know.
Yeah.
This, you know, and this is what this is. Okay. Look forward to working on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's that. Yeah. You don't. Yeah, and that's what happens in a lot of bands. There's so much passive aggressive communication, and it's just destructive.
Like I said, it's kindergarten. Egos just get in the way, and people.
The other thing is that you know, I'm really an open-minded guy, but it's like you don't come to rehearsal to drink, and you don't come to medicate.
That's
and I'm out front with people about that. So, So, yeah, I've been there. You know, like a couple of years back. I mean, I got involved with this musician, and he wrote great stuff. Really a catchy songwriter. I had him over the house with bands, and I noticed that he always, you know, at first he was bringing a 6-pack, and then it was a couple 6-packs.
Oh,
you know?
my Lord.
Yeah. And then he would, So, and by the hour and a half, he
was half in the bag or all the way.
All the way. Yeah, so this isn't worth it. So that's another thing. I you know, chemistry, but I think a lot is just being consistent with people. You know, letting them know, hey, this is the goals, short-term goals, long-term goals, you know, as much as you can. So I you know, and I'm from New York. I'm from the East Coast, you know. So it's I get to know somebody, and they're my friend. They're family.
Yeah.
You know, and I
part of the family. Get straight, Michael. Part of the family.
Yeah. So yeah. But it's good. No, you got to be friends with their wives. You got to flirt a little with their wives, and that's good. And they like
you weren't joking.
Yeah. So yeah. And hey, you know, you gotta have the players and enough music to keep it interesting too.
Right.
You know, really, which is the glue. You know, I mean, whether you're doing a tribute act, whether you're doing an original act, whether you're doing a top 40 thing, you know, you just gotta have this is what we're aiming for. And yeah, I mean, and you know, you gotta have some gigs once in a while. Anyway.
Yeah, that helps.
No way to hide it, no way to fight it. Don't waste my time. No way to hide it, no way to fight it. Say what's on your mind. No way to hide it, no way to fight it. Don't waste my time.
Studio, and nowadays, you know, shooting some video too, and it keeps everybody like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah.
You know, make you know, I gotta have a professional. You gotta have a professional. It's not a garage band thing, you know.
Right.
Yeah. So. Yeah. Otherwise, I've been pretty lucky. Yeah.
Well, so obviously this has been an evolution. So when would you say that you actually began and led your first band?
Yeah. Let's see. Drummer in that band. Yeah. Oh, you know what? I would say about in the 80s, early 80s. Yeah. Yeah. Band called Nightlife.
And what style of music were you doing?
We did really, what would you call it? Adult contemporary kind of thing, yeah. Because we played, at that time, there was always good money in all of these country clubs.
Right, that's where you met Mary Holdsworth at that time, right?
Yeah, but there were always good money and good gigs. And so we did that, and then you know, just did some... You know, some popular stuff people knew, but yeah, that was part of that. God, kind of a did some blues too in that. Played with James Michael Thomas, who was Ray Charles' guitar player. This guy lived in Everett, and I met him in about 1980. Formed an instant friendship and band. He smoked 3 packs of cigarettes in like 4 hours. But big, hard as gold, and he could play. Yeah, he could play. Yeah, and he had a showmanship to him.
Right.
And he had a lot of great bad jokes about. I had great jokes about Bellevue. And it was
complete comedy, musicality.
So great guy. He died at the age of 42.
Oh well, it could have been the cigarettes. I don't know.
Could have been, but man, played with him all through the 80s. Yeah.
So did you get like 10 years out of that band?
Close to it, almost.
Yeah, see, that's
close to it, almost.
I call that being successful.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah.
It would be a lot of the bands I've been with. I've been lucky to get 10 weeks. 10 days.
Man.
Show up for rehearsal 10 hours.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
Yeah, you got players in the band. You got to let them have their input in the way that they want to some degree. I mean, it can't. There's no such thing as a democracy in a good band.
I agree with you.
There's just not. And I used to think that as a young person, But I learned pretty quick that no, and there's got to be a captain, And I would tell people, hey, it's not a democracy, but I consider myself fair. If you don't believe me, ask me.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I have a qualified opinion about how fair I am.
But yeah, I think really having the music, like this is here's the arrangement, but you got some input. You got it's like you got a way of think of this should swing a little more or whatever. I keep endings open, when I'm doing arrangements. Yeah, an opportunity to say, hey, how would you like to end this? If they don't say anything, then I'll just say, here we go.
Yeah.
But so otherwise.
So a side note question.
Yeah.
So during your set and your live performance, oftentimes would you be the musical director in directing how long solos are going to last? Like when you got an audience up, it's a good time to stretch out the song.
Oh, you know it.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. The singer, and I've been the singer in the band for most situations. It's one group I have right now. I'm not the lead singer, which is kind of a nice change.
Is this the?
This is Sleep Till Noon.
And
a guy named Jackson Cooper is who sings like Greg Allman.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, he really does. And so.
Does he play guitar as well?
No, man.
He's just a lead singer.
He's a lead singer and does some percussion.
Nice.
And,
we have the percussion element helps a lot.
Yeah, it really does. But so that's but I'm feels good.
Yeah.
Feels good. We're real tight as far as just communicating and anything at all. He's a great guy to work with.
So he's doing lead vocals. You're singing backups, pretty much.
I'm singing backup, and I'm playing drums now on this gig.
Yeah, I know.
I wanted a drumming gig.
Wanted to do that. And then so you've got someone else. There's two backup singers backing this guy up, or is it just you right now?
No, actually, the other guitarist sings.
I know that David's in that band.
Dave sings too.
Yeah.
But the other guitarist, Michael Coble, he sings too. So it's great. We
got a good lineup.
Yeah. The vocals is, let's face it. I mean, any band. A successful band. It's really about the vocals, unless it's Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right.
Even then.
Yeah, even then.
Yeah.
You're a great vocalist. So, yes. So getting back to your question, I definitely it's what's cool about playing drums and taking a leadership role or being one of the leaders on stage, because Mr. Coble is kind of a natural on guitar, is that I can go right into another song, and this is what I really like doing.
Right,
It's like it's just like a DJ, you know,
Right.
and pushing or playing
Right,
records,
right, yeah.
You know, one song plays while the other one's still going, and then it fades out. Or
Oh
whatever.
wow,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
That's going to take a little bit of rehearsal to make it.
It
make
does.
work.
It does. But you know, bass player Paul Mackncheeze in the band.
He's a great bass player.
Yeah. Paul is
Yeah.
rock solid. So, yeah. So yeah, things are good.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, and I've been doing the Van Morrison tribute act now for a couple of years. So that's
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, things are kind of on hold right now.
They are.
But,
They are.
You guys did Bakes. Your first gig,
Yeah.
you did Bakes.
yeah,
right?
just about yeah.
Sold it out.
Yeah, sold it out. So,
Yeah.
yeah, we're looking forward to you know, just things
Mhm.
getting back to normal, because yeah, just all kinds of stuff, some cruises and everything. So yeah,
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
like the process. Let's go to the Van Morrison tribute band. You started with your inception on how did you come up with this concept?
that's a good question. I said, gee, what would it be like to do a tribute act? Let's see. Well, I don't play guitar, so I guess you know, it's not going to be the Beatles, you know,
Yeah.
or I thought about Clapton. I loved his music, you know, or
Yeah.
what's marketable, et cetera, you know. Thought
Yeah.
about a lot of things, and I started doing a little research, and you know, Van Morrison came real quick, just because, well, you know how successful and
yeah, and you love him. You love his
well,
stuff.
I love his stuff, and then I found out everybody on the planet pretty much does. Yeah, and you know, but you know, his music, his lyrics, I was drawn to that, and his longevity.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I said, and then singing it is second nature.
Right.
You know, I'm blessed with some pipes. And that goes back to, that would go back to even high school. You know, I was in choir and stuff. I had some really great choir teachers. And people knew what they were doing. So, but the Van thing, and I'm, you know, I'm playing keys and handling all the horn parts in that band, besides having a sax guy
Yeah.
that so we do all the harmony stuff as far as the horn parts together. Very effective. And, yeah, it's what you used the word woodshedding, you know.
Mhm.
I mean, I've really had to. It was good. It was great for me.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, kind of kicked my ass. Yeah. I mean, learning all these horn parts and singing them all at the same time and etc. Yeah.
And you wrote charts for everybody.
Everything.
Yeah.
I did. I read. Yeah. Initially wrote charts for sax, so B flat, and then E flat instruments, and yeah, that was a lot of work. But you know what? It's there. You know, I mean, it's what can
It's
I say?
done.
It's done.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know that the cake is baked. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like you know the recipe inside out, and so we've got a really good act. Fun.
Yeah. So did you meet Paul on this before this band, or
This is Paul Mackncheeze. Paul Mackncheeze, I think he answered one of my ads. Initially, I put something out in Craigslist or something, in the grapevine, like looking for a bass player, and he answered me, and it was a great beginning, because he didn't get back to me. In other words, like I said, I think we talked initially, and then he didn't get back to me or something. And I had some deadlines for some gigs and stuff, you know. So I spoke to him, and I just said, man, I said, you know, this is just, you know, this is Bush League, you know. I mean, my New York was coming out that day anyway, you know. So it kind of took him by surprise a little. So anyway, he you know, wrote me an email and said, hey man, you know, just this is where I was at, this, and I punted, you know, and I got the ball back, which is a good thing. Yeah. So, and then I said, Paul, I said, let's have lunch, you know, and I said, let's let's talk about, what we're doing musically. I said, I may have, I may have been a little short with you, So, and he said, yeah, he goes, well, I think I was a little short with you too. So,
Okay.
anyway, it was and then we met in Snohomish, and it was great. We talked, and bada bing, bada boom, and that was at least 4 years ago.
Oh, so you knew him
Paul,
before this
for
concert.
anything. Paul and I were, because I wanted a bass player, songwriter, had lots of different kind of stuff. I just had to have a bass player.
Yeah.
Just tired, of like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
How can I get grooves down?
Yeah. It makes it as being a drummer.
Yeah.
I've got lots of friends who are bass players, but nobody's around permanently.
So Paul,
Yeah.
So Paul is like, and no matter what I'm doing, if I was doing a duo gig or something, I know Paul, I could just give Paul a call. So yeah, had Paul and then got this guy named, we call him Mr. Coble because he's a music teacher with the Everett School District with kids, and so so he's always Mr. No matter whatever. So it's funny, and you'd be up on doing a gig, and here's Mr. Coble.
Oh yeah.
People go, what's it?
Yeah.
Anyway, so he laughs, but it's stuck. So great guitarist. He was with. Here's a guy that was with Carnival Cruises. Music director for Carnival for 4 years, and all the big acts came on board, and he coordinated and took care of all that. But anyway, and then Michael came on board, and I've had a couple different horn players, but right now I have a kid named Seven Sky, school musician, great reader. He's 20. Yeah. Acts like he's 30. Something tries to. Royce,
it's all the discipline.
Got Royce Shemeka on drums. Kind of a guy like who's the drummer for the Rolling Stones.
Charlie Watts.
He's kind of a Charlie Watts guy. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, he's really solid.
So, and he's also an expert in the field of video editing. Brings really great guy though. So, yeah, we that's who makes up the Van Morrison tribute. Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
So, do you have advice for people? I know you've given a lot of markers.
Yeah, I would say if I had to give any advice, it would be just as far as keeping bands together. Have a plan. Writing things down and communicating things consistently by email helps a lot. Obviously, people are into texting or have a phone, but again, I'm being redundant, but certainly musical structure, choose the songs. If somebody wants a song, give me your input now. It's great, and or no, or they just have a lot of faith. They respect your reputation, whatever. But lots of strokes for people, positive reinforcement. It's almost like you got to vet people. Again, their attitude. What do they want? What do they want looking to do? And if it's going to fit or not.
Yeah.
People are going to come in and they're going to want to blend as musicians, or they're going to want to say, "Hey, I'm going to take center stage." Oh. And got to deal with that. But it's the thing you want to notice right away. I look for collaborative.
You're looking for
people.
Team players.
Yeah, I look for team players. Yeah. Not just players. So that's I would, and I think for a lot of people with bands, they get impulsive because you play good, come on in, so you're gonna fit because I heard you play 4 scales. But anyway, so.
Well, you've been doing this for a lot of years. So, how about for grins? How about some horror stories? How about a horror story? You've had it before.
Yeah. Well, guys coming in that I didn't vet.
Yeah.
Didn't vet, coming in and just medicating, drinking.
Yeah.
So much they fell over, in rehearsal, and also
on stage.
On stage, and then I'm responsible for getting them home. All that crap,
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, that's pretty much the horror stories. People getting I'm drunk on stage. I mean, it's like the guy who's a great singer. It's this bass player. I won't mention his name. He's no longer with us. God bless him. But could just for the first set. Wow, played in the pocket, sang these great harmonies. That was it. That was it, because his BAL was easily 1.5 and up. 0.15 and up. So it's like after the second set. So I got tired of that.
Right.
But I mean, you're in a band. You're in a situation. You're having some success. Think about some of how the major acts handle it. It's, you look at Jerry Garcia, heroin addict, and but when you're selling out more concerts than anyone ever has in history.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. The guys just what does it say? He gets a mulligan.
Yeah.
He gets a mulligan, or there's another way of putting it, but. He gets a hall pass.
He gets a hall pass.
Yeah, and other guys in the band don't get the hall pass.
They don't get the hall pass,
they don't.
but he does.
Right.
Does,
yeah. So you got. Yeah. So I got tired of giving out hall passes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ray Charles, in his book, his autobiography, he admitted that he was a heroin addict.
Yeah.
17 years.
It just might exclude you and me. The desert land where the blood dries so quickly. We just pretend that the world, it doesn't say. Get up, Scoochie. We want the truth. When the fool opens his mouth, don't believe it. Get up, horror. We want the truth. Ain't no time, it ain't no time to be fooling around.
That hasn't been the norm over the last, I would say, 5 years.
Yeah, and don't you think that with the progression of time, there does come wisdom? Because some of the craziest stuff that happened for me when I was at gigs was when I was in my 20s, and somewhat in my 30s too. But as I've gone along, things aren't nearly as crazy as they used to be.
No, they aren't.
You obviously are thinking of something.
Yeah, no. I don't know, but I've been at some gigs in my 20s, 30s where some people didn't show up.
Oh, band members?
Yeah. And it's like you had to compensate, immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was pretty crazy.
Did you say you did a gig one time where you forgot your foot pedal?
I was just going to mention this. I was playing. It was up in Skagit County. It was at a kind of a banquet kind of room. It was a special occasion, and I was playing with a guy named Vern, Vern is just a sweet old guy. He's got a voice like, just a super voice. Did all this great country and all this crossover material. Anyway, I got to the gig, set up. It's a nice stage, nice big stage.
Yeah.
And it's like first you look in your bag and you go, oh, all right, it's in the other compartment.
Yeah.
So, and it was the beater to my bass drum.
Yeah.
And I so I looked in this bag, and finally, it was 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
And I was, I was an hour plus away from home.
Yeah.
And I said, Vern, I said, I'm missing something. But I said, I got a plan. So he said, what are you missing? I said, I forgot my bass drum beater, And he go, and so first thing we did, we went into the kitchen and we grabbed spoons.
Yeah, that was the very first thing.
Wooden spoons to stick in there.
Yeah.
And try to get it in.
Yeah.
And something to slap.
Yeah.
Anyway, no can do. And what I ended up doing is playing bass drum with my right hand the whole night.
How did you do that?
And playing my kit with my left hand.
Yeah.
Playing everything.
But
So it was just like if you're with a stick.
Yeah.
A regular stroke.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just put my arm down there, and I played hi-hat and
Wow.
You know.
And sang at the same time.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
But. Yeah,
do you recommend that?
Talk about a study in independence.
Yeah. Well, you got that right foot just flopping there doing nothing.
Yeah.
Probably twitching.
Yeah, and I got through the night, so that's the true story.
Oh man.
That's Vern Gibson, by the way. That was Vern Gibson.
Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
anyway,
mean, forgetting to bring equipment is did this gig with a friend, and guy always brings two guitars to the gig, right?
Yeah.
Always two guitars. We show up. I think we're in Tri-Cities or Spokane or something like that. And he's only got one guitar, and as we're loading, I go, "Hey man, you only brought one guitar." He goes, "Yeah, I just didn't think I'd need it." And so we got downbeat. We get halfway through the first song, and he breaks a string. And he's never broken a string at a gig before, right?
Wow.
And the guitar goes completely out of tune, and he's got this smile on his face, and it's just like looking at somebody in a complete state of vacuousness. He couldn't figure out how to put the string back on. He was just so panicked.
Did you guys cut the song a little shorter?
We just had this. You know what I mean? We finished the song. But he couldn't get the guitar tuned. The bass player had to help him tune the guitar.
Okay. He couldn't get it tuned?
No. No, he's got his tuner. He was so panicked because
because he always relied on the other guitar?
Yeah, that's right. And he was just panicked. There was just absolute panic.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. Funny. I'll never forget. His face was just like, "Darnell, are you okay?"
Another short story, a fun one is I was doing a banquet in early 80s, playing a band with a woman named Robin Wiley, who ended up being the manager and the musical arranger for NSYNC.
Oh, really? Jeez.
And she's in Seattle.
Yeah.
And we're at this. It's for the Seattle Supersonics. It's the Supersonics basketball team's doing a benefit this night.
Yeah.
So, it was one of these things. It's like it wasn't just getting equipment in and everything was you had to go through secret passages because it was like you couldn't just go through the door because it wasn't kosher, it wasn't political. Anyway, so we got all our equipment there, we're ready to go, and our contract says we're playing at let's just say 9, right?
Yeah.
We get there and we're all set up and the room was full, and so we're all set up by 8:30, but it was like then the guy who booked us comes strolling in. And he goes, "Why the hell aren't you playing?" The contract was for 9. Yeah. It's 8:30, and and I just went 1, 2, 3, 4, and that we. Yeah. But it was like, thank goodness we're all set up.
Yeah.
But and that was the night that I took apart my drum set, and the saxophone player, and I held my drum like a marching drum, and we walked around playing this some kind of just tune that just was went over and over and over, and we marched around, and it was like, I got paid extra for that night, but it was
that was something they wanted.
That was a request. But let's talk about requests. I mean, that you get on the bandstand. It's like I marched through the kitchen, marched through the dining area, and then of course where Lenny Wilkins was the, coach and all, and I was holding the drum with one hand and of course and doing everything on right
with the
hand.
other, yeah.
I was just playing. So and the saxophone, and that was a really odd request.
Yeah,
but I
know that a lot of the weddings and stuff that I've played, there have been the dance request and a specific style of song list, but nothing ever. I've never had to take my snare drum and march around the gig.
Yeah.
And I know there's odder stuff than that out there.
Yeah, it was. You know what it was? And we played Tequila. Now I remember.
Well, that makes sense.
See? Yeah, we played Tequila. You're right. Yeah, walking around.
When it was walking around with the sax player.
Yeah, but da.
What are you just tapping it out on the snare?
Yeah. Drums, right. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, great gig. Yeah. And probably as far as tooting my horn, playing, I got to play in front of 80,000 people one time. That was Mardi Gras.
Oh.
And we were the band.
In
Seattle. The last year they had an outdoor. The last year was Pioneer Square.
Yeah.
And the following year is just the cops and everybody just said no crowd control.
Yeah.
80,000 people. Yeah. So it was it, and cool. You know. Pretty amazing.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
It is. So, good. Yeah, a lot.
That was one of your bands.
That was Go for Broke.
Okay.
That was Go for Broke, and that was a band that, talk about longevity. 6 years anyway.
Yeah, that'll work. That's a good run.
6 years. Yeah. A lot of pharmaceuticals for the other people in the band. Yeah. But so. Lucky to last that long, but the wheels stayed on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting.
Man. Well, hey, I dressed up for this, so.
Yeah, it's because we both have a face made for radio, so.
No, you're right. I was disappointed people can't see.
Yeah, don't have the camera on.
Obviously they feel my charm, but yeah.
They do. You're a very charming man.
Yeah, right.
All right. Just want to thank you, Mike. This is Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze. Michael Clune, guest tonight. All right, Dr. Jones, we bid you adieu.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up today's podcast. If you've enjoyed this, please share with your friends. You'll find us on iTunes and Spotify. Just key in Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze. And thank you for listening. Take it away, Bruno.
That's a wrap.
Hey everyone, if you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it, please subscribe to Brian at Mack-n-Cheeze on YouTube. Just press that subscribe button and you'll never miss another episode. Hey, and you got that going for you, right? All right, cheers, have a great day.